Welcome to today's news discussion. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Sean. We'll be covering the latest news headlines and updates.
Let's start with the ITV Evening News, Weather, which aired on ITV1 London Plus One at 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 29 July. The program provided a roundup of the day's news headlines.
That sounds like a comprehensive summary. What were some of the key headlines from that broadcast?
According to the information available, it covered the key headlines from the day. Although specific details aren't provided, it's likely to have included major national and international stories.
So it probably touched on various topics, from politics to global events. Did the ITV Lunchtime News Weather, which aired earlier that day, cover similar topics?
Yes, the ITV Lunchtime News Weather aired on ITV1 London at 1 p.m. on the same day. It focused on the key headlines from the day so far.
That makes sense, given the timing. The lunchtime news would have covered the morning's major developments. How does the BBC News at 1 weather compare in terms of content and timing?
The BBC News at 1 Weather aired on BBC One London at 1:45 p.m. It also provided a roundup of the latest headlines, likely covering similar ground as the ITV Lunchtime News.
Right, so both ITV and BBC were covering the news around the same time. Were there any regional updates specific to London in these broadcasts?
Actually, the BBC London News Weather, which aired on BBC One London at 1:35 p.m., focused on the latest updates from the region. This suggests that there were regional news elements covered, possibly including local weather updates.
That regional focus is important. It means viewers got both national and local perspectives. Now let's shift to the BBC News broadcasts on the BBC News channel. What can you tell me about those?
The BBC News on BBC News aired on 11:45 a.m. on Wednesday, 29 July. It covered the latest national and international stories.
So it was another comprehensive news summary. Were there any other BBC News broadcasts that day on the same channel or on BBC News HD?
Yes, there were multiple broadcasts. The BBC News aired on BBC News HD at 8:30 a.m. and again at 10 p.m., both covering the latest national and international stories.
That gives us a sense of the frequency and consistency of the BBC News updates. All these broadcasts seem to be covering similar national and international stories. Is there any indication of how they differed in terms of content or focus?
While the specific content differences aren't detailed, it's likely that each broadcast had its own unique segments or updates based on the latest information available at the time of airing.
That makes sense. The timing of each broadcast would have allowed for updates based on breaking news or new developments. Speaking of the weather, were there any significant weather updates or forecasts mentioned across these broadcasts?
All the broadcasts mentioned had a weather component. Although specific weather forecasts aren't provided, it's reasonable to assume they covered the day's weather outlook and possibly any weather warnings.
That's helpful for listeners who are trying to stay informed about both news and weather. To wrap up, what's the overall takeaway from the various news broadcasts on 29 July?
The overall takeaway is that both ITV and BBC provided comprehensive news coverage throughout the day, with a mix of national, international, and regional updates. The multiple broadcasts ensured that viewers had access to the latest news at various times.
That's a great summary. It shows how the different news programs work together to keep the audience informed.
Goodbye. That's all for today's discussion.